Good morning, everybody. It is 8:30 a.m. New York time, Friday. Happy post 4th of July. You guys in the U.S. all had a great holiday. Just going to do some real quick market analysis for today and talk a little bit about the news release, which is happening right now. I think we're going to extend, this is US dollar, obviously. I think we're going to extend up and we're going to probably tag off of this 96.70 level, which is coming up here pretty quick. You can see the price shooting up. I kind of felt that, we would look at retesting this 95, this 96.50 level in here, 96.40 level in here that I have shaded in the green. Just because price was really hesitant in here. It didn't really want to touch this area and reject quickly. So in my mind, I was kind of thinking, and all week it was sideways price action. You can see Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday jammed up in there, but it didn't go anywhere after that. It just sort of sat and hung around. I was kind of building the idea that they were probably going to shoot this thing higher one more time. And I was looking about the 96.70. We could even run up to 98, almost 97, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. The news just came out and you can see it's spiking up right now. Right into that level now here. So I'll go down to the hourly chart here and you can see it a little bit better. So I'm expecting them to run above this little high in here. We do have a little gap in here that was formed last week on the open of, I'll put the day dividers on. You can see that gap right there. That was about 2 weeks ago that was formed on a Sunday. Sunday's candle from a Friday's close. You can see we just came in, just closed that level in right there. So I was looking for that to get run up to. We're also hitting rates. If you take a fib, we're also coming right into that 72 to 79% retracement level as well. So I was looking for them to come in and run that out. And one second, folks. Forgot to do one thing. So we'll see if they want to continue up, but as mentioned, we sat here all week long, and I was expecting them to do exactly what they're doing today. Now, depending or not on whether or not we're going to see the high put in here for the month, and then we'll see the price continue down. We are still in these trade wars from the U.S., obviously, that I had mentioned. And if you've been watching any of my free stuff or any of my stuff with our members group, obviously you'd know that the U.S. is kind of throwing the markets in turmoil right now with all of these trade wars that they're imposing with China, and everyone's not too certain as to what the outcome is going to be, if the tariffs are going to go on or not. And so that's obviously why the U.S. is currently lowering their interest rates, and with it is coming the dollar. So, it's kind of uncharted territory right now. And so I believe we're probably going to see further continuation. Mainly, what I'm ultimately expecting is price to jam up in here, which we have done, and then retrace. And I want to see them run this low out here. I'll just move that a little bit. So 95.35 on the downside is going to get run. And then ultimately, I think we'll probably start to chip away at these old lows down here if we see continued weakness. 95.10, obviously, and then 94.50 to the downside, I think, once we get a real good push. But this level down here probably won't get traded to until, maybe next month, maybe even till September. It could take them a while to get back down to this range here if they want to go that deep, if they haven't already figured out these, what they're going to do with all these tariffs. So anyway, what does that look like with foreign currency? Well, very similar. We've got some similar levels. This is the Euro USD. Very similar levels. Let me zoom in a little bit here that I was watching. And again, I was looking to see if once price ran up into here and took out this whole high, if we'd see any continuation here. We obviously didn't. Price held off. and then came back down. And I wanted to see again, are we going to bounce in this level here? And I mentioned this before. A lot of traders were looking at this as a run higher through and a retest back below, and then price is sitting here 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and everyone was thinking that was support, and it wasn't. They obviously jammed price through here, opening on the week, and then they sat in here 1, 2, 3. Finally, 4 days later, we're jamming back down, and again, right in that sort of 72 to 79% retracement level. That's sort of where I'm thinking now. I don't want to see this price go any lower than here. See the shaded box I have right here? That's my line in the sand. I don't want to see them go lower than that or trade into that area at all. And certainly, if they did, I would be then expecting them to probably run this low and subsequently maybe these lows down here. As you can see, they came down once. One quick stop run below that, and then price rejected off of it. Sorry, two quick stop runs below that, and then price ran off. So we're going to see what's going to happen here right now this week. Again, I was expecting a lower run into it, and you can see that 15-minute candle just, one quick try above and then a quick shot below. I think this is going to be pretty short-lived. I think by the end of today, prices, well, they could just push this sideways for the rest of the day to finish off the week, and then potentially next week see higher movement. But I think by the time, this time next week, I believe we're probably going to see price trade higher than where it is right now by this time next week. So somewhere, when you shift the chart forward here, we're going to see price be up into here somewhere, maybe even up above here. So that's what I'm looking for on Euro USD. Cable is showing a little more weakness than what I had anticipated. I was sort of looking at, as you can see here, I've got this whole area in here shaded off, and I've got 1, 2, 3 levels in there, just a run right below this low here, if things really wanted to get crazy, that they could run this low here, and we've obviously done that now. And I'll put we're currently trading right now at the low of this candle, right back into the middle of this consolidation level in here, sort of right off the top of that candle. So we're going to find out now. Do they want to jam this thing lower one more time and start to take out, this is the daily, as you can see, start to take out this low in here, which is looking pretty heavy in here. We could see them run out this low here. But if we see the US dollar start to reject this area in here, like I'm sort of anticipating, I'm not looking for them to run. I'm not looking for them to run above 97.10. 97.00, like big figure, is sort of the or even. I guess I should say 97 even. I'm not looking for them to run much higher than that. Maybe up to 97.05, but I really think that's going to cap that out. And if we do see a cap out here, if it does even trade that high, I'm going to expect the pound dollar to either A, just sweep this low here and reject, or B, not even get that low and kind of stay. When we're actually looking pretty heavy right now, we could see them run this out, but I'd be looking for them to either reject here and then run higher. So we'll see what they want to do, but so far we are looking pretty heavy. You notice the difference between cable and euro, and we're not down, and these two usually trade fairly similar. So you can see, like, if this was cable, this would be trading all the way down here versus, what the euro's doing. So we're a little more heavy on cable versus euro. So what I'm thinking, again, if we do see that bounce on the US dollar, then this would be the less weaker of the pair on the downside versus cable, and we could see a stronger, higher bounce and a much higher push forward, because I think we're going to start taking out some of these highs here on Euro USD, and it would be about time. They've really been consolidating this price in here for so long that it would be about time for them to start moving it. So that's my ideas on those two pairs. Let's zip over here real quick to US CAD, because this guy here took out an old low, very old low, from January of 2019, so earlier this year. I'm sorry, February 1st of this year, put in that low, and we took that out late last week. So this was a bit different of a trading setup than what every other pair was doing. So it wasn't very correlated to what the overall, i.e. being the US dollar, was doing. So I didn't trade this pair at all, but after this run up into here, I was calling these lows down here, and obviously it did that, quite easily compared to the other pairs. So this one, I'm honestly going to say to you today, I'm not too sure what they want to do with it. This level down here at 128, 90, or call it, 12900, is, I think, going to be the target ultimately. By the time this summer is over, I would imagine that, as long as the U.S. dollar continues to lower their interest rate and the U.S. CAD keeps their interest rate firm, which, all signs are pointing to them lowering their interest rates as well, the Bank of Canada, we're probably going to see them trade off down to here, which would be a couple hundred pips lower as well. So that's the target. I'm going to leave that on here. What would change that is if we started to trade back up. If we started to trade back up in this range here, basically above this high here, basically above these highs here, I would think that this probably is going to have to wait for a little bit, and this was just a quick run below, gathering up all the positions and all the stop orders that were below that, and then they're just going to run this thing higher, and in which case we could see them run these highs out. So moving on, UJ's really showing a lot of strength as well. Left a couple of equal lows under here that I think they're going to run out shortly. Again, this pair should be rolling over as the US dollar rolls lower. It will obviously drag the UJ with it, or US yen, and I think there's a possibility. I was looking for this to happen. So this is on the 4 hour. So these are weeks. This is this week. This was last week. This was 2 weeks ago, and then 3 weeks ago here. What I was looking for was a quick run above these highs in here, and we didn't get that. We saw price jam back down, and now we're finally making an attempt to get up there. So I think they're going to run these highs here for whatever. Very similar to what the cable's doing. Cable looks like it wants to take this low out here. I think UJ wants to at least take this high here, and we'll see if it has enough strength to get above here. But I'm not looking for them to go much higher than these levels in here. I would say right around this blue line, up to and including this red dotted line here, is where they could want to jam price if they really want to show some strength. But I think more likely what's going to happen is we'll take out this high here, and then we'll probably, if it does get up into here, it'll just be a real quick shot above, one quick wick, maybe above this high and that high there, and then we'll reject. So we're getting pretty close to it now. We're not too far off. Price, we're looking at maybe about another 35 pips or so to the upside if we get further continuation. And the US dollar really looks like it wants to get up into this range in here. So we could even just extend out these guys here to the wicks. I typically don't do the wicks very much, but for this case I'm going to see how that looks. I'd like to keep it on the bodies of the candles, but you can see it drug up that 79% retracement level a little bit, so I think that's where we could see them want to stretch. So that is the major Forex pairs, and then Australian dollar. Look at this guy here. Australian dollar was really showing some strength. So as the US dollar was falling in here and then even retracing back up into here, Australian dollar was still making new highs, and really had a very, very minimal retracement compared to what the US dollar was doing. So this obviously should have been doing the exact opposite of what the US dollar is doing. And as that US dollar was running up higher into this week here, and into last week, as you can see, all through here, Australian dollar was saying, no, it's I'm not doing that. I'm doing my own thing, and they're just kept running higher and higher and higher. So I think ultimately we're going to see them run up to the 72.10 level, which is basically a return back to these levels over here. And they're showing some great strength right now. And I think the NFP numbers that are coming out right now, they're just going to drive this thing up. And I want to see them try to take out these lows here. Whether or not they get all the way down to 69.35, which I have marked here as a target, I was hoping they would have done that last week. I'm sorry, earlier this week they had their rate announcement, and you can see they jammed price down in here, and they kept it 1, 2, 3 times on the rate announcement, and they created these equal lows here, and then they just rejected off, took out the old high. My target is going to be down here ultimately, which is again not too far away. We're about 50 pips to the downside where I think they could take that. At the very least, just to run right below these lows a couple of pips, which is about 30, 40 pips. So either way, I'm expecting them to continue to push this thing down and make up some of that ground, and then I'm looking for them to run back up. Let me get rid of, I got some paraphernalia on this chart. I want to just kind of clean this up here just a little bit, and I want to actually just take a quick fib off of there to there. And you can see there's going to be a little bit of resistance, support up into this area here, I would imagine. Maybe even the current range that we're at, but and they may run back up into here and then fall over, but ultimately I think they're just going to keep driving this thing down here lower, and we're ultimately going to see these lows get run out. And then ultimately long term, like I say, I think we're going to see price jam up into here by end of summer, going into September, maybe even sooner, maybe by the end of this month, we'll see price up into here. Just a quick look where we're at here. So we're getting there. We're getting close. I'll just refine this a little bit. Now, as I mentioned, if we see price, and we're pretty much at that level right now, price so far has hit the 96.79. So I'm expecting another little push higher here. It could get up above 96. I'm not saying that this is the level it's going to stop at or anything, but that is the level that I'm watching at, and we just fell short of that by about a pip. You can see that's high, 96.79 on 4 pipettes. So I'm looking for just that last little push up into here. Now, whether or not we stop there, it's going to be determined here today, or if we're going to see a push higher. Now, if we see a push higher into here, like I said, we could get higher than this high and then this high in here, and maybe trade back up into the lows. See this low here and that low here and these lows over here. We could, it's a pretty high confluence area in there. Look how much time price is trading, trading just in this little area right in here. All through here, in here, in here, and in here. And in here, they could want to run above this high. I don't think they will. I'm not going to bet on them coming all the way up into here. I think we're probably just going to see the high set right in here, as I mentioned. But just be aware that there is a high there, and there is a high there where there are stops resting above it. So we could see them wanting to tag those areas, but I have just sort of a gut feeling that we're going to hold off in here. And because I always talk about crude oil, I'll talk about that real quickly. I mentioned this earlier in the week. See this little X down here? I think they're going to run these lows underneath this level down here, right there. And you can see price all this week has really been doing nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. Let me pull up the day dividers. You can see this week here, we early on the week ran out the highs of last week and then dumped down, took out those lows there, and I was looking for them to rebalance off the 54.50 level, and they were starting to do that coming down here, and then they stopped once, twice, 3 times in here, and that's when I thought, okay, we're finally going to do it, and then see price jam down, and then they went all the way back up here, almost tagged off the 57.75 level, this old low right here, and now I think they're finally going to start to roll this thing lower. It could take them into next week, so what we could see happen is they just roll over, take these lows out here today, and then stop, close price maybe somewhere in this area right here, and then early Monday, Sunday open Monday, going into Monday, they come back down, hit these highs, old highs back in here, and then we start to see them rebound, create some level of support in here, and then we start to see them run higher, if that is their ultimate goal. Now with crude oil, I have been not necessarily wrong, but I was looking at these areas down in here saying, well, we're probably going to see them roll lower and then reject and then go higher, but we obviously ran higher right off the bat, so it is what it is. So anyway, the last thing I want to talk about here was gold. Look at this move on gold here, straight back down, right into the area that I'm looking at. I like what I see here. I like how we're jamming lower. I want to wait and see. I was thinking actually of taking a long in here today and just leaving a, pending order limit into here. As price was jamming down in here, as price was sitting up into here, so then I didn't have to watch the price on it. And you can see they just jammed into there now. I like what I see. I like how they're rejecting so far. Price came down right in the tips of these candles here. I'm going to wait for a little bit, and I could potentially look at taking a long in here, but I'm looking further continuation. I'm looking up price going all the way up into here, all the way up to this red line here at 1520. That's my ultimate target on gold, and it could go even higher if there's continued weakness in the US dollar. But that being said, I think we're right into that area that I was looking at right now. So I want to see if they want to come down and just swing below this low here one more time, or if that is ultimately going to be it. And that basically is just a swing below these lows here, because we could see them come down to here. I have 1, 2, 3 levels in here that I'm watching for. Down to 1365-ish, 1364, 1365, where we could see them. You can see that there, 1365, where we could run again. So I'm not going to get long right here. I want to see sort of a little bit more information before I do, but I'm thinking a long rate in this area here on gold, and lots of potential to the upside. You can see this is what I'm predicting, price run down, and that's exactly what we're getting. So I want to see them hit that support level and then finally start to trade higher. So we're getting pretty close here now. I'm going to be watching the 15-minute candles and to see what we get. So that's everything, folks. I appreciate you watching this NFP news release and the live analysis to go with it. I hope it helped your trading today. If you didn't get a chance to watch it live, you can check out the recorded version on the YouTube channel. I'm going to leave that up. That's public and all free. And if you want some more detailed information on exactly where the price is going to rebound and exactly where to get in and entry levels and everything else, go ahead and check us out at f45trading.com. I've got it on the lower end right here, and you can check out what all our members see on a regular basis. And there it is right there without anything going through it. Go check us out, f45trading.com, and lots of options. If you're a brand new trader, we can help you learn to trade the markets much better, and we can show you just very, very simple stuff to get involved, to get your feet sweat, so to speak, in the markets, and learn how to work all the software and how to read candles and what all this means in here. If you're a brand new person learning to trade and you want to take advantage of the markets and get involved and start your trading career, go to f45trading.com. We can help you out with that, right up to intermediate and advanced traders for live market analysis. We do all of that on a daily basis as well too. So something for everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys had a great week, and enjoy your weekend. Get some rest, because next week's going to be hopefully another great week of trading. So we'll catch up to you then. Thanks, guys.